Hello to everybody. This is Pavel from Montreal province, Quebec, Canada, and I would like to welcome everybody who is interested in learning Italian language. I would like to invite you to my 5 to 10 minutes series of analysis of the Italian grammar. Usually I take the articles that I'm analyzing from Il Giornale or Corriere della Sera, Il Paese. These are the Italian newspapers. Okay, so without further ado, let's do it. Andiamo! So, let me read the first article. As you can see in green, it's in Italian, and in, I believe this is brown color, that's in English. So, let me read it first, and then on the next slide, we will analyze it. Oggi percorrere l'autostrada tra Damasco e Aleppo è possibile. Fino a pochi anni fa non era affatto scontato. Anzi, per andare da un punto all'altro della Siria occorreva passare tra deviazioni, posti di blocco, strade interne imprevie. So today, traveling the highway between Damascus and Aleppo is possible. Until a few years ago, it was not at all obvious. Indeed, to go from one point to another in Syria, it was necessary to go through detours, checkpoints, inaccessible internal roads. Well, let's go into the analysis. So what I am interested in this article. Oggi percorrere l'autostrada tra Damasco e Aleppo è possibile. Fino a pochi anni fa non era affatto scontato. So in this case I'm interested in non era affatto scontato. So this is the first part. And then the second verb that I'm interested in is per andare da un punto all'altro della Siria occorreva passare. So I'm not focusing on infinitives, the translation already shows them, but I'm mainly interested in tenses that are presented in this article. So let's explain it. Well, let's go into details. So what is it? Era affatto scontato. This expression is composed of the verb essere in indicativo imperfetto, that means in imperfect simple past tense, plus scontato. Scontato is the past participle of the verb scontare. Well, if we want to use past perfect in Italian, which is this case, we have to use trapassato prossimo. And in Italian, the past perfect trapassato prossimo, or more probably said pluperfect, is a past tense used to talk about what had happened at a point in the past. Basically, it's a past in the past. How do we conjugate this verb ero, which is the imperfetto or imperfect tense from essere? Io ero, tu eri, lui lei era, noi eravamo, voi eravate, loro erano. The second thing that I have to explain is why with the verb scontare we are using essere, because usually we would be using avere. The reason is this is a obviously past perfect, but it is a passive form. Every single time we use passive form, we have to use auxiliary essere. So let's take into consideration the second verb that I want to analyze, and that one is occorreva. What it is? Occorreva is the tense which we called imperfetto. It describes settings or situations that extend over imperfect arcs of time, mostly with verbs that express continuous action. how do we conjugate occorreva? We know that the infinitive of occorreva is occorrere. And how do we conjugate it? Io occorrevo, tu occorrevi, lui, lei occorreva, noi occorrevamo, voi occorrevate, loro occorrevanno. And obviously the meaning of that verb is occur, or need, or to take. Well, let's read the first sentence of this article. E abbiamo non vissuto quasi 3 anni della nostra vita in questo modo, senza coraggio, senza reagire, e questo non significa che il virus non fosse e non sia ancora pericoloso. And we have not lived nearly 3 years of our life this way, without courage, without reacting. And that doesn't mean that the virus wasn't and still isn't dangerous. Well, looking at the sentence, we have 2 expressions. And the first one, e abbiamo vissuto, which is present perfect. And then we have, at the end of the sentence, e questo non significa che il virus non fosse e non sia ancora pericoloso. Fosse and sia are subjunctive forms. So let's go into details. Well, let's look at the first expression, e abbiamo vissuto. This is a present perfect tense, which is it's a tense which is combined of 2 verbs. The first one is auxiliary avere in the present plural, abbiamo, and vissuto, which is the past participle of live, vivere. So abbiamo vissuto means that we have lived. The second expression I would like to go is in the second sentence, e questo non significa che il virus non fosse e non sia ancora pericoloso. What it means, fosse and sia, both of these expressions are subjunctive form. The first one, fosse, is imperfecto, or the imperfect form, past tense, of the verb essere, and the second one, sia, is the present time subjunctive of the verb essere as well. Now, when do we use subjunctive? There is a lot of information about that, but subjunctive is a mood mode. So, for example, if it says this doesn't mean that, it's a kind of like an assumption, it's an hypothesis. Always when we are actually dealing with some hypothesis or with some assumptions, or if some feelings come into it, we have to use subjunctive or subjuntivo. So these 2 expressions, non fosse and non sia, are subjunctive form of the one verb, essere, which is to be. Well, we have reached the end of today's lecture or lesson that I call 5 to 10 minutes of Italian grammar analysis. I hope that you have learned something new. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, leave the notes, and I'm looking forward to post more of these types of video. Arrivederci!